some of you have been asking for it, and some of you would have had issues past part 1. So I figured I'd make a part 2 of the Icecrown Citadel raid guide. And here it is. Let's begin. So I started off with killing that person that was channeling to the orb. That is a prime thing you want to do. The orb gives you a 100% damage buff and reduces the cost and cooldown of all abilities by 100%. That means all of your abilities are free and have no cooldown. It's pretty nice, and you can do what you see me doing right here, pulling all of these mobs together using some sort of dot like I did, and then blood boiling them, and boom, my dots now do like, I believe 21k ticks or something like that, something crazy. But that's pretty much all I have to give you for this trash pull. There's really nothing to these guys. The only thing you might want to watch out for is the tacticians. They are the ones that stun you, and that can be a pain in the ass if you have issues with that stun. Now, if you're a DK, your blood shield should take up most of the damage, but if you're any other class that doesn't really have an absorb or anything like that, you might want to kill those guys first if you just want to set kill order. But again, that's all there is for this trash, and let's just go and let this thing play out, I guess. Luckily there's not much trash in between the entering Bloodwing and starting up with Blood Princes. But let's kill out these last 2-3 guys, and I'll start explaining the fight. Okay, so, Blood Princes. Very easy fight, honestly. It's a pure tank and spank. All you have to do is the first guy here in the middle will just start attacking you. For some reason they're standing up, they're supposed to be laying down. Anyways, thanks Blizzard. The Blood Orb will drop down on them. Whoever has the Blood Orb is empowered. That means they do more damage and they have some special abilities. This guy doesn't really do too much, just hits a little bit harder, and is supposed to cast Empowered Shock Vortex, which doesn't do anything to you because you're by yourself. If you're with other people, when you're within, I believe, 10 yards with each other, you will get blasted away from each other, and it kind of sucks. But by yourself, not that big of a deal. You see here, I just kind of dot him up, and I just go to work with damage. That's all you have to do. Now, there's something that I did not do that I would suggest that you guys do if you have any issues with damage. You want to grab those purple orbs flying around the room. That gives you shadow resistance. You'll need that for, I believe, Keliseth. He is the one that is shooting the shadow bolts off there on the left, and he does a lot of damage with those. You'll see here in a minute. It is a ridiculous amount of damage. You also see the orbs dropping to the ground and blasting me across the room here. That can be avoided, and here's the extra damage from Keliseth, by the way. He does, right now, to me, he's doing 70k Shadow Bolts, I believe, and that is a decent amount, especially at level 90. That's a good amount of damage, so if you can avoid that damage by any means, do that. Pick up the Shadow Orbs, maybe utilize some cooldowns if you don't want to pick up the Shadow Orbs. You see me here using AMS and kind of Anti-Magic Zone, but that goes away immediately, and it's just kind of a pain in the butt. But you can see here I did survive without really using the Shadow Orb. Some of them did grab onto me from using my AoE, but that's beside the point. Anyways, let's move on to the orbs that we're dropping. You can stop those by just throwing a a direct attack on them, and it will take care of the issue. And it goes on to the last guy already. This fight is extremely fast, and it's hard for me to keep up with this. This guy casts an empowered fire orb. It does damage to you while traveling to you, but you can see here it doesn't really do that much damage, so it's not really worth worrying about. And again, this fight was a tank and spank. There's not much to it other than Keliseth's shadow bolts things. I think that should be your only issue with this fight. Again, simply just go and attack one of the orbs and they will follow you. I believe it's 20% resistance per shadow orb, something like that. So you can get up to, I believe, 5 or 6 shadow orbs to make it to where you're taking the same amount of damage if you wasn't empowered. So, again, very easy fight, nothing to it, and we get back to these trash poles. So, I'm going to speed through these trash poles, and we will get back after this little edit. So, I'll include this in here just because, in case people were a little bit wondering what I did. I did this first as blood, and I am going to be completely honest, I completely forgot about the vampiric essence running out. So, I'm going to speed this up a little bit, but you'll see here, I don't blow all my cooldowns, and I might have been able to get this if I was blood and I had full, like, damn DPS gear, like, that was good. I am wearing DPS gear when I'm blood, by the way, but if I had better gear, I might be able to do even more damage, and maybe have gotten this down as blood. But you'll see, I believe I get her down to about 40%, and then stuff starts happening and I can't really do anything. So again, if you have the damage as blood, feel free to go blood. When I did this as Frost, you'll see I did it without any problems. But anyways, let's get back to the fight. So this fight is pretty simple. If you're getting to the phases where she goes up in the air and fears you, all you have to do is just kind of use some kind of fear resistance. I believe for Death Knights you can use anti-magic shell and that'll get rid of it. Warriors and rage, yada yada yada, things like that. Or if you're human, you have every man for himself. And if the fear is really that big of an issue, which it really shouldn't be, you can pop on a PvP trinket that you get from the PvP vendors. You can get the one that's level 60, honestly. You don't really need a higher up one. But again, fear should not be that big of an issue for you. If it is, then you can go and do that, but I don't expect that to be an issue for anyone. You see here that I got the transform, I didn't even think about it. Anyways. This is a very simple fight, honestly. The purple stuff on the ground, you're gonna want to move out of that. Now, you saw me staying in it mainly because I was thinking, oh, well, it's not that big of damage and I like the extra vengeance. But, to be quite honest with you, it's not that big of a vengeance boost, so it's not worth doing, if you ask me. But, that's just me. And, you might think otherwise. But I just suggest just dropping on the ground. You can stand in the same place, or you can move around the boss like I was doing in that. Go there. It's up to you if you want to do either way. But there's really not much to this fight either. Just simply don't stand in the fire unless you just want that extra, like, 1% vengeance. Don't stand in the fire. If you get the fear, right before she uses her fear, you'll see her cast time. Just pop on some sort of anti-fear thing, or while at the beginning of the fear, right when she fears you, blow your every man for himself or anything like that, and you should be pretty good. This fight is very simple. If you are having issues with not being able to get that vampiric essence off in time, or getting that kill off before the vampiric essence runs out, you've utilized all of your DPS options. You cannot pump out any more DPS than you are right now. I would suggest bringing in a friend, even if they're level 80 and they can survive that. All you need to do is just bite that person and you're good. It has to be a player, sadly, but if that's so much of an issue for you, then you might have to do that. But other than that, the fight is very simple and shouldn't be much issues. You'll see that I believe I beat her with 20 seconds left on my vampiric essence, which is pretty good if you ask me, but that's just me. It was pretty simple, and I keep on saying it's pretty simple, but it's a simple fight, so take that as you will. And if you have any more questions for me, leave them down in the comment section below. I always love to hear the comments, and I love to help out people that might be having issues with this. I'm here to help, and that's why these guides are here. So if you have any questions or you have any issues, let me know, and I can see what I can do about it. That's about it. So have a nice day, and I hope to see you on the next video. See you.